What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Blockchain Warehouse podcast. We've got an awesome guest for you here today. I'm joined by my co-host, Joakim, and we are here with the CEO of Ubex, Artem. Welcome to the podcast show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for the invitation to the show.
Fantastic.
We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Awesome. No, we're really looking forward to it. So, Artem, why don't you kick us off by telling a little bit about what actually Ubex is and how you guys are looking to disrupt the industry?
Yes, so with Ubex, we are doing a project in artificial intelligence in advertisement.
Yeah.
We are using the neural networks to make the analysis of the consumer behavioral data.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because everyone leaves something behind when you go online. So we are taking these elements, yes, we are putting them into the neural network, and then we're using this information for proper targeting to show the right ads to the right people. And we combine it with the CPA system, so pay-per-result system, to ensure that advertiser pays only when an action is actually taken, for example, a purchase.
Right. Okay, that makes
sense. This is all powered by smart contracts to ensure that operations between advertisers and publishers are always taking place, yes, and are always happening without any fraud. So this is very briefly about Ubex.
Yeah. No, makes sense. So just so I understand, because there'll be people listening to this and saying, well, how does it differentiate from like Facebook targeted ads, for example? Whereas what you guys do is you use any kind of trace that people have by going on websites, and you use that data, and only when people actually do an action do you actually charge the supplier. Is that how it works in general?
Yes, exactly. And that's actually a very big difference from what Google does or Facebook does.
Yeah.
First of all, we're a different segment from Facebook and Google because they're in search and in social.
Yeah.
We are in the programmatic segment of advertisements. That's different.
Yeah.
And actually the fastest growing segment. And second, yes, you're absolutely right. We focus only on actions, while, for example, Google focuses on clicks.
Yes.
They don't really care if there was action or not.
That's
so it's
really
a task of advertiser to trace the conversion rates. Well, here, the conversion rate is our responsibility.
That's so interesting you say that. It's like, well, why isn't everybody doing this? Honestly, Facebook, they'll just take either clicks, they'll charge you according to impressions, various things like that. And I agree, it should be action-based and I love what you guys are doing. Now, with a technology like this, what was your sort of go-to-market strategy? How did you kind of define how you were going to market this product to the industry?
Yes, so we have here several stages. First of all, we have already launched the alpha version of the product in May, several months ago. This alpha version is quite basic in terms of neural network, so it's very similar to the classical programmatic exchange. Yes, so I cannot say that it's very advanced, but that's stage one, because still some of the publishers, some of the advertisers are already joining there because they can just see that it works. Yeah. Then stage number two is when we are switching in the payments to the system. This will happen immediately after the token sale when the tokens are available. Without tokens, you cannot pay. So actually, starting from October, we're switching in the payments. And then stage number three will be when we are switching in the neural network. We are already training our neural network, but it takes time and data to get the quality of information much higher, quality of analysis much higher. So we started the training with limited amount of data, but then it will go up. And then finally, in a few months, when we see that neural network has consumed enough data, has quality that is really reliable, then we switch it into their exchange.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of marketing channels, what do you feel actually drove the most amount of traction for you? Because there are people advertising on YouTube's and doing reviews. I know you had like Ivan on Tech, for example, do a YouTube review. There are people advertising on forums, on CoinMarketCap, and I've seen you guys in so many places. What would you say is the channel that drove the most amount of traction to actually drive token sales for you?
No, actually, why you have seen us in so many places, it's because we use very smart targeting.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm quite sure that some other people who are not in blockchain have not seen it.
Yeah.
because we started to use our own knowledge in order to advertise our own projects.
Okay.
You can understand it because we consider ourselves as experts in targeting.
Yeah. Of course, it makes sense.
So yes, we have tested a lot of channels.
Yeah.
Yes, to be very open with you, we decided to test everything that is possible.
Yeah.
But with very deep analysis of what will work, what will not work.
Yeah.
And what's funny that over time this was changing always. So the channel that was working in June was not working in July.
Wow, that's interesting.
So it's because market is quite challenging. That token sales in general are going down. Ethereum was going down in this period. So the feelings of people were different, and during the different, when the market is going down, one channel works. When the market goes up, different channel works.
Right.
That's quite an interesting thing. Then we were using the analysis to see to understand the results, and definitely we were quite logical. We were focusing on the channels that were the most efficient ones and countries that were the most efficient ones.
Okay. And what would you say, which channels were the most efficient ones, and which countries did you actually get the most amount of traction from?
Yeah, so right now we are very active in Switzerland, Germany, because we are a Swiss project, and definitely Switzerland and Germany, that's one big zone. Then second area for us is Korea.
Okay.
Actually, we have worked a lot with Korea. We had around 7 events there, I believe. And so we have strong partners in Korea for strategic partnerships and for token sale as well. Myself, I'm in Korea every 2 weeks, and this paid off.
Okay.
It's paid off. And by the way, Korean channels are very different from the global channels. They have very country-specific media and country-specific things. If you want, we can go deeper into Korea. Then at some period of time, India was very active.
Oh, that's interesting.
That was very unexpected for us. We never were focusing on India, but then beginning of August, it was a period when we had most contributors coming from India with biggest number of transactions. There was a whole week. Then Korea took over, but there was 1 week like that. And still, by the amount of transactions, India is leading.
Okay, that's interesting. Joakim, did you have a question there?
No, I just thought it was really interesting because thinking about recent India regulation of cryptocurrencies, that was really unexpected.
What's very special about India is that there are many small transactions.
Right.
So average size of transactions coming from India is probably 0.1 Ethereum.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. It's actually unpredictable because, a lot of people are targeting European countries, American companies, a lot of the companies that they feel are going to, buy huge amounts of tokens up front. And I would have never have thought Korea and India would have been, actually quite good for traffic. And I suppose when you have that, the artificial intelligence and the advertising insight, it's quite clear to see. I mean, would you say that there is like native kind of social media platforms? Is there native kind of channels specific to Korea and India that drive traffic, or is it kind of more of a generalistic marketing approach across Facebook, across YouTube adverts, anything like that?
No, for India, definitely that's about general approach, because again, we never had a focus on this country. Yes, it was more but coming from the global approach than we had the result in India. For Korea, yes. For Korea, definitely yes. So we are partners with CoinPlanet. That's a local media. Plus, in Korea, what really helped, they have quite a lot of so-called cafes. So cafes, that's a mix of a blog and a social group.
Wow. Okay.
That's basically like an online cafe where people are coming, they're discussing something, they're going away. So this really helps a lot, but it doesn't work just separately, because definitely you also have to be on events. They need to see that you're real, because events are very, very concerned about any kind of scam or fake stuff.
Yes.
So they really need to see you. They need to talk to you. And then when after the show the first time, when they meet you, they build their
trust and confidence.
You gain the trust. And then people who are really well known in the industry there, who have their reputation there, then they start distributing the information about you.
That's
and
really
then it starts to work.
Okay.
So it took really a lot of time for us to make Korea work. Actually, my very first visit in the roadshow was in the very beginning of March. It was Korea. Yes. And some results started to come from Korea in July. So it took around 5 months for us to really make the things moving in Korea.
Okay.
Like, for example, in Japan, I know that it's the same thing. In Japan, it's also a bit slow and under the same stream of work.
Yeah.
In Japan, we didn't manage to do it.
Okay.
That's because we started much later. So in result, Japan is near to zero in our ratings.
Perfect. Right.
But
I want to make
for token sale. This is for token. We all have another part which is business development. Yes.
Sure.
They're closely linked, but these are slightly separate separate areas.
Of course. I want to make sure I get this right, because any kind of CEOs who are looking to raise their own kind of ICOs or are thinking about setting up their own token sale. So far from your experience, Korea is great, especially meetup groups, especially cafes, where you have to kind of develop a presence. You have to get known within these communities and they'll push it out in their sort of more native areas. Whereas with India, it's more kind of natural Facebook type places where, you can do perhaps like AMAs or come live and they then kind of help you out and push out your token sales. Now, I know you advertised in a lot of places and I know you kind of said, you tried everything. What was like your top 3 things that you would say that you tried, you didn't really expect results, but they were like actually really kind of interesting and they actually got you a lot of token sales?
Some of the small original sites sometimes work really well.
Okay.
You really need to find the jewels because the big ones like CoinMarketCap, etc. They're nice, but they're first expensive, and second, everyone goes there. So they are. That is why, in terms of return on investment, if you make that calculation, definitely they are not the best, even though they're bringing a lot of traffic.
Wow.
Well, again. Some of the regional things, some of the small regional things, they really work, but some of them at the same time, they don't work at all. So we had a good amount of, for example, Vietnamese media or some of the Chinese media, or actually in any country, that brought just 0 results.
I see.
That's 0 results in terms of contributions, but I'm sure that they still brought some traction because, what's really interesting is that in our experience, at least, it's never just one point of entry for the contributor. We always have at least 3, 4, 5 touches. It means that he has seen our ads or touched our community at least 3 or 4 times in different places, and only after that, there was an action.
Got it. Yes. Okay.
So we never had just one point and then it worked, just never.
Yeah, it's the consumer developing a sense of familiarity with the token, and then after 4 or 5 times, they're like, okay, well, what is this, right? And that's when they kind of investigate and buy tokens. Makes complete sense. Now, Artem, what would you say is something that you wish you knew before going live on the token sale?
I wish I knew the market dynamics, for sure.
Okay, yeah.
Because definitely what didn't help us was the dynamics of Ethereum.
Yeah.
Yes, that went down and now it goes down again.
Yeah.
And you can understand well that when Ethereum goes down, then the general humor is not very positive.
Yeah. No, totally understand.
Yeah. And second thing about so for definitely I would define different time frame for the token sale if I knew.
Right. Yeah. So we would have timed it differently.
Yeah, I would just time it differently. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Second thing, we're using an escrow, so we cannot touch any funds right now. Yes, I made it on purpose to make it safe for everyone. Yeah, for us definitely, and definitely for all the contributors, so that they feel safe. But at the same time, it has one small negative consequence that we cannot really make a conversion between their currencies. And we have to stay exactly with the currency how the contribution was done.
Right.
So, for example, in this case, we knew quite well already in June that Ethereum will go down, but we could do nothing. Yes, we couldn't do the conversion, and we couldn't hedge against it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know, what's interesting is that I see so many companies raising different amount of soft caps, raising different amount of hard packs. But from your experience with Ubex, what would you say is a reasonable marketing budget that any company needs before deciding to go live on a token sale?
No, this really depends on the strategy in terms of pre-sale and main sale.
Mm-hmm.
We have focused on as a public sale.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If you focus on the pre-sale with funds, etc., then you have to give much bigger bonuses, but at the same time you have much smaller budgets.
Okay.
You don't need to advertise. You don't need to go for it. We made it differently. We never had bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
For the large contributors. We always had like the same conditions for everyone intentionally.
Yeah.
But we had to spend much more on ads. It was we made it on purpose because we knew that we are specialists in ads. So we knew that we have to play on our strongest feature, on our strongest thing. Most of the projects, they don't understand how to make ads.
Right. Okay.
That's why for most projects, especially for the guys who have technical background,
mm-hmm.
I would recommend to go for the other strategy, which is, let's say, a larger pre-sale, longer pre-sale, and very short public sale.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, this really depends on the type of a project, if you really need big community or you don't need, and your core competencies, yes.
Sure. Okay. So you wouldn't say that there is a ballpark figure. It just kind of depends on what you're looking to get and what your sort of soft and hard cap is. Is that what roughly you're kind of getting at?
Yeah, actually, just in general, if you see, definitely you need at least $1 million.
Okay. Sure.
Nowadays for any kind of token sale.
Mm-hmm.
If there is no $1 million on the first day,
yeah,
then it's better not to even start it.
Right. Okay.
Whatever strategy. Yeah,
okay.
But then it depends. It depends. From 1 million, it can go up. It can just stay at 1 million, depending on your strategy and.
Perfect. Yeah, that's awesome, because I think that really helps kind of iron out and manage expectations for a lot of CEOs who may be listening to this and thinking of going live with their token sales. And, you know, as somebody who's, you know, I mean, you guys have done tremendously well, and I see you guys everywhere online. So I'm like, well, how do they do it? How much do they spend? You know, because it's really important to kind of develop that market perception and manage expectations. Now, I know you also worked with a lot of YouTubers. What would you say is like, were there any that proved to be particularly good, or did you kind of drive any kind of traction? I know you weren't on Ivan on Tech. Was there any specific YouTubers that really stood out to you to kind of help drive market traction?
No, I don't want to advertise any kind of special people that was there. The only thing that I need to tell that with YouTubers, that's exactly the case when we cannot really trace the result directly.
Yeah.
So we never had, let's say, direct moves from YouTube channel to the site to the contribution. Not really.
Okay.
Not really. So that's much more about the PR, which is, let's say, the general awareness about the product, and definitely drives organic traffic.
Okay.
So it's the part that is not really traceable.
Fine. Okay. And in terms of like advertising sites, I mean, there's like Coinzilla, there's CoinMarketCap, there's numerous ones that are more kind of generalistic, they're more kind of mainstream. I mean, I know that you mentioned that it was almost counterintuitive that CoinMarketCap has the most amount of traffic, but not necessarily driving the most amount of token sales. Is there like a smaller kind of company or ad site that you worked with which wasn't as well known in the industry, but drove a lot of token sales?
Yes, they were, but I don't want to disclose them. Finished the token sale. Yes. If I disclose it now, then the prices on this website will get inflated.
Okay, maybe you can disclose it after. We'll have to keep in touch for that. Awesome. And Artem, what are your thoughts on, you know, the current market and where do you think it's going? Do you think it's going to go back up anytime soon?
Yeah, you want my personal feeling? Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, we don't care much about where the market will go.
Okay.
Yes, because we have long-term strategy and we are not planning to convert straight away into fiat. And we have a development plan where we need the funds. Yeah, we were discussing here token sale, but actually most of our focus is on business development and on product development. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Just okay. Because of your interest, we were discussing mainly the token sale. So just sometimes people forget it.
Yeah.
Totally. Token sale is just a small part for all the story.
Yeah.
And in terms of market, so again, we don't care much where it goes, but my personal feeling is that by the end of the year, we will see the growth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that we will see the growth in Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
We will see the growth in general in crypto.
Okay, all right. So in general, like, would you say that the downturn has affected Ubex at all, or is it something that you're aware of, but you're still plowing through because you have a long-term strategy and a vision that, you know, you're kind of sticking to?
Definitely, it has affected.
Yeah.
If there would be no move down in terms of cryptocurrencies, I believe that we would close the hard cap in June.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And here definitely we didn't manage to close it so fast, and we definitely had to spend much more.
Mm-hmm.
We had much more marketing spend because of it.
Okay. All right.
Also, you know that I'm in the crypto space for quite a while.
Yes.
So I have seen the projects that were 1 year ago, for example.
Yeah.
It was slightly different dynamics.
Yeah.
And I just remember that we were doing the things completely wrong 1 year ago.
Oh, really?
And it still paid off. Yes.
Right. Okay.
So, meaning that if we would do the same things that we're doing now, let's say 1 year ago, I strongly believe that Ubex would close the hard cap probably in 3 days.
What? That's incredible.
But okay, it's definitely just a feeling.
Yeah.
That's because of the market.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
because of the dynamics that is going down. So my recommendation, if you want this for any other heads of the projects, or any other people who are planning their launches, time your projects for the periods when there is growth.
Okay.
Growth as a minimum, stability, better growth. When there are huge fluctuations up and down, it's not a good period.
Yeah.
Yes. When there is a move down, it's definitely not a good period.
Mm-hmm.
The reason is very simple. Contributors' psychology is that they see that they already earned something.
Yes.
Because of the growth of Ethereum, they understand that probably they cannot earn more.
Yeah.
Yes, because there is a limit for Ethereum to go up.
Yeah.
Yes. They cannot earn more by just staying in Ethereum, while their appetite is growing with every dollar they earn. So they decide to go for, let's say, operations of higher risk. Definitely token sale is slightly higher risk than just staying with Ethereum.
Okay.
That's why they're much more open at that period of time to make contributions.
Sure. And how would you say you found the approach with more kind of institutional investors? Because there's a lot of tokens and there's a lot of companies and ICOs that are going out for, you know, large kind of VCs that are investing a lot of money from an institutional perspective and, you know, buying hundreds of thousands and millions of tokens. Whereas relative to kind of more kind of social, where, you know, you're targeting the average consumer who's sitting behind the computer and wants to actually get a few tokens. Where have you kind of found you get the most amount of traction for? And would you say that kind of institutional investors are still receptive to kind of ICOs? And how has their kind of perception changed how much they're investing?
Yeah, so institutionals' perception has changed a lot during the last year, for sure.
Okay.
Yes, so let's say 1 year ago, they were very open. They were looking for strong projects, for sure, making deep analysis. At the same time, they were, let's say, stepping in one out of maybe, let's say, 30 projects.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right now, most of the institutionals, they make the analysis, and but they don't step in.
Right.
So they probably step in 1,000 projects.
Wow. Okay.
First, because there are much more projects out there. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And second, because most of them have chosen different strategy. So some of them have gone for support of their own projects.
Mm-hmm.
So now several consortiums have developed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I will not name them, but you probably know them. Like in the world now, there are around maybe 15 big consortiums that have a, let's say, fund or two funds or a big syndicate, and they have several projects that were already implemented, and they have teams that are ready, and they're just doing another project. Yes, they're looking for, they're making acceleration sometimes themselves. So it's really good systems. Yes.
Okay.
They're really looking for the best of the best, and then they are investing only in their own projects, but they don't invest outside of their own incubation.
Okay.
Yes. And sometimes you don't know that they're incubation. Sometimes you just feel, okay, these are just normal projects. Actually, they're part of their incubation.
Okay.
Yes. this is part number one. And part number two, yes, there are some funds that are not having the incubation systems, that are not having this. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to step into a syndication with other existing big companies, like the funds that have incubation. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So, that is why for, let's say, independent projects, it's quite tough to get into the institutionals nowadays. Okay. It's possible. I'm not telling it's impossible.
Yeah, of course.
It's possible, but under very unsexy conditions, generally.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
And yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Joakim, did you have any other questions for Artem?
Maybe have some questions about the project itself, or about
definitely,
etc. We're just talking about token sale.
Yeah. No, of course. So in terms of the Joakim, do you want to take over on questions about the actual project?
Yeah, sure. So what do you think is the one most interesting aspect about your project? What is the one thing that makes it stand out?
I believe it's a combination of the three elements that we have, that no one else has now on the market, which is combination of artificial intelligence, in our case neural network, and blockchain, and paper result system. So all the projects that I see now in the edtech space, yes, they generally have just one. Sometimes they have two, but generally just one. We managed to combine all three, and that's amazing. That really makes us stand out and leads us to the new level of programmatic network, to generation 2 of programmatic. Yeah.
Sure. And in terms of Ubex, I mean, this sort of need in the market for actually creating something, which actually uses artificial intelligence, which is action driven. What kind of prompted you to actually create this technology, and how do you see bigger platforms like Facebook or Google potentially adopting artificial intelligence or adopting something like this in the future? Do you see that there could be some kind of collaboration, or do you see the advertising industry kind of shifting to use more kind of data-driven intelligence to actually use more artificial intelligence going forward?
No, for sure. These big companies, they're not sleeping, they're developing their own systems.
Yeah.
Sure. The thing is that both Facebook and Google, they have big teams working on it, but they are focusing on slightly different segments of ads.
Right.
Yes, again, because they're primarily interested in the growth of their main business.
Understood.
Yes, not in the new things.
Okay.
And second thing, I believe that there will be definitely quite a lot of M&A activity in the future.
Okay. Sure.
Definitely there will be some players that will be the most successful players.
Yeah.
I believe that Ubex is has to be one of them.
Yes.
And definitely, just as it was happening in the end of 2000s, with apps, with other things, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and the similar ones will be hunting for companies either to purchase them, either to acquire, or to step into a strategic partnership with, let's say, partial acquisitions. And I don't exclude that we will agree for some kind of strategic partnership with one of the companies like that. We're already in strategic partnership with NVIDIA.
Oh, wow. Incredible. Yeah.
With NVIDIA, we're actually part of their incubation.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, they're our mainly technical partners. This is not a marketing partner.
Yeah.
And I believe that we definitely need to, in the coming year, I really want to sign a similar collaboration with, let's say, with one of the major marketing companies as well.
Of course. Okay. And what are some exciting... Go for it.
Sorry, yeah. Do you have any businesses currently using or committed to using the platform now or in the near future?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, sorry. Do you have any businesses, big businesses, currently using or committed to using the platform in the near future?
Yeah, sure. First of all, we are not focusing on big businesses. We are mainly focusing on their e-marketing space. Yes, so their online shops or the eBay shop owners are our main clients in this case of the platform. But at the same time, yes, we are working with big ones. For example, the company called Coca-Cola, you probably know it. is already testing the system in Mexico.
Wow.
This is a market test.
Wow.
So this is not a full-scale story, but okay, as stage one, mainly they're interested for promotional things for their events. Yes, not just for, because they're not only selling Coke, they're also promoting some of the events and some other things. And that would be the test. If it works out, I really hope that they roll it up for the global things. Second, we have quite deep relationships now with Denso Aegis through their, that's a big advertisement company, through their client Estée Lauder, cosmetics company. Yes, so they're as well running some of the tests. They're very different from Coca-Cola tests. It's much more in the direct ads story. Yes. Plus we have a business development team who is also looking for other. We are part of AIB, which is Association of Advertisers in London. And through this association, we are in London, we have a team who is working to develop much more advertisers and publishers. Sure.
Okay, got it. And what would you say are some of the biggest sort of updates you want to share with the thousands of people that will be listening to this about Ubex as a platform? I think it's incredibly clear what you guys are doing. I think it's incredibly smart. I'm really looking forward to kind of how this transitions in the next 3 to 5 years. The people that are doing the market tests, they're huge companies, and that's incredibly exciting. Are there any other kind of exciting updates that you would like to share with everybody about Ubex?
No, some of the latest news are that we have launched their alpha version for publishers.
Amazing.
In August. So we have promised it by the roadmap, and we have launched it.
Yeah.
So we have it now, and so publishers now can switch in as well. Before we could switch in just advertisers. Yeah. We already have quite an amount of them, by the way. And you are actually one of the publishers, so you're welcome to join.
Yeah, for sure.
Second thing, in very few days, we will make some announcement about the team, because we have hired some very strong developers for the neural network. We have hired our chief developer now. We have a new person, and we are preparing the announcements.
Okay.
So it will be quite
exciting.
Big thing for us. And then finally, we will announce a partnership with one more Korean partnership, which is a company called Lise.
Amazing.
Providing data and some of the analytics for us, but that's mainly for the future Korean market. Plus, I'm quite sure that I'm departing actually tomorrow to China.
Okay.
I'll spend the next 2 weeks in China, and I have some interesting meetings there. I don't want to disclose the names of the companies. I have not signed it yet. I hope that I will manage to bring good news after the Chinese tour.
Amazing. Honestly, that's absolutely incredible, Artem. And there's some really exciting updates there. I'm going to be keeping definitely a close eye on you guys. And for anybody listening to this right now, you should be incredibly excited about the future of Ubex, because it's using technology, as Artem said, a combination of 3 things which aren't being used in the industry right now. And there's incredible developments to the team, to the technology, and so many things going forward. So Artem, thank you so much for everything. We're definitely really excited for the future of Ubex, and I think people can learn a lot about what you guys are doing, mainly from this podcast and so many resources out there on the internet. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your questions.
No problem.
It was a pleasure.
Cheers.
Yeah.